Welcome to my course about Nevada Revised Statutes Chapter, or NRS 641, regarding psychologists and psychology assistants. I am Jay Cafretta and will be your host today. A little bit about me. I hold a master's degree in communications and an associate's degree in deaf studies. I am also a certified diversity executive. I teach cultural competency courses for healthcare as well as for professional development. I've been involved in the legislative processes that have created these laws and personally testified on these bills while they were being created during the Nevada legislative sessions. I am not a lawyer or a legal analyst. These laws pertain only to Nevada. Other states may have similar laws, but the ones that I am discussing here are Nevada specific. Please check with your administrator, supervisor, or licensing board as to the application of these laws and how they may impact you. Again, I am not a lawyer, and my interpretation may be different from the licensing board or the Department of Health and Human Services. So let's get started. Most of these are or were updated in March of 2023. These are not reflecting the new laws or the changes to the statutes made in the 2023 legislative session. They are catching up with the 2021 session. In Nevada, we have a biannual legislative session that lasts for a regulated 120 days. All new legislation must be introduced, heard, and passed by both the Senate and the Assembly before heading to the governor's desk. If the bill makes it to the governor to be signed, it is considered enrolled, and if the governor signs it, it becomes the law effective as each bill states. Please look on the Nevada legislative website for more information about the different sessions. These are the chapters of the law that pertain to cultural competency and healthcare providers. I have a course on each one, so if you do not work in a licensed healthcare facility or you're a professional that works under one of these chapters, and you also work under a licensed healthcare facility, then this course will help you to determine what is required of you, your licensing board, and the facility. So again, let's start with what are the licensed healthcare facilities in Nevada? And this again helps to separate people who have a professional license and are working independently versus those who work in a licensed healthcare facility. Under NRS 449, that is the licensing chapter of the Nevada Revised Statutes, these are the 25 different types of facilities in Nevada. If you work in one of these facilities, you are required to take a state-approved cultural competency course. You can see the strike through for halfway houses these were removed in the last session of the legislature in 2023. And these are now called recovery houses to update the language. In this presentation, we will talk about NRS 641 as it pertains to psychologists and psychology assistants. To be clear, here is what NRS 449 says. Now, I'm not going into detail here. You can look at my other videos about NRS 449 to get all the details about that. However, if you are a psychologist or a psychology assistant that works in one of these facilities, then you are required to have the training that is approved by the state. This is not the same as the courses that have been approved, say, by the Psychology Board of Examiners. In addition, there are some juvenile detention facilities that also require cultural competency training for their staff, and some of those may include psychologists or psychology assistants. So, you have continuing education requirements for your personal and professional license renewal, and your licensing board, again, will have more information about those requirements. For psychologists and psychology assistants, the cultural competency training requirement was increased from 2 hours to 6 hours in the 2023 session and will go into effect on January 1 of 2024. This is linked to the renewal of your professional license, and at a minimum, every 2 years or biannually, you will have to meet this continuing education requirement. And again, if you are under a licensed healthcare facility, then you will have to take the state-approved course. That will also work for your personal professional license. So let's look at what NRS 641.220, which governs the continuing education requirements for psychologists and psychology assistants. Now, NRS 641 says that you must receive a minimum of 2 hours of cultural competency training. And you can see that here in bold. As I said earlier, starting in 2024, this is going to change to 6 hours. The topics stay the same. The only difference is that the number of hours has increased. In the last session of the legislature, AB or Assembly Bill 267 created the new requirements of 6 hours of cultural competency training as opposed to this requirement of a minimum of 2. So this is what it is right now. And what has changed is in this Assembly Bill 267. And as you can see right here on line B, the requirement that every 2 years the holder receive at least 6 hours of instruction. So currently the approved course for NRS 449 is 9 hours of CEUs for cultural competency. And as you can see under number 1, it says may include the training provided pursuant to NRS 449.103. So that means that if you are looking for this minimum of 6 hours, you can get it in one course that is also approved by the state under NRS 449. Again, if in doubt, a state-approved course will cover the requirements for your license renewal. The red language is the language that was deleted, and the blue language is the new requirement that starts again on January 1, 2024. As I mentioned earlier, I teach cultural competency courses, and the course that meets the requirements for NRS 449-103 and provides 9 hours of CEUs is available to psychologists and psychology assistants on my website. There is another course I offer on cultural awareness. However, it is only approved for 4 hours of CEUs, and that would then have to be submitted to the Psychology Board of Examiners for approval for continuing education units. However, my course for NRS 449 does give you a minimum of 9 hours, and so it meets all of the requirements, regardless of if you are renewing your professional license or if you work in a state licensed facility. This course is available in English and Spanish, and the Spanish version is exactly the same as the English version, except that it has been translated by a certified Spanish interpreter, including all of the videos. The introduction in the Spanish versions references NRS 449 and not NRS 641, but it will meet those requirements as well. I also have a standalone course on veterans that will fulfill the requirements under NRS 641 if you are interested in that. So in conclusion, the training is required. The content is specifically laid out in Nevada revised statutes or the law, and the content in the course must be approved for CEUs by the Board of Examiners. So again, please check with your supervisor or the Psychological Examiners Board if you have any questions about these requirements. Please reach out to me if you have questions about the course that I provide. And if you are covered by a different chapter of the NRS, please click on my other videos to see more information about them. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more updates about these important Nevada-specific laws. More content will be posted as the laws change. So again, thank you for watching this presentation about NRS 641.220 about psychologists and psychology assistants in Nevada. You may contact me at j@asltraining.com, or you can find these courses at www.asltraining.com. Thank you.